on the exterior cleanup for each rental property. You can also see it in the master renter checklist. So for this job, each one of these needs a date, name, and when they're expected to start, when they're expected to finish, and how much y'all have agreed for on the payment. So whenever you meet with people, you might be meeting with multiple people to get quotes on what they're going to charge. This is a general list here, done in January. So generally, all the leaves are going to need to be bagged. There's going to be tree limbs on the ground; those need to go to the road. Uh, Natural yard waste will go in one neat pile by the curb, and then man-made trash will go in on the other side, also on the curb. Generally speaking, all of the weeds need to be hand pulled from the flower beds. The hedges need trimmed. You'll go over which hedges specifically when you're meeting with the person in person. Oftentimes, the grass will need mowed, and concrete will probably have some erosion issues going on, so we'll need to get that dirt scraped off and thrown back into the yard neatly. If there's a shed or deck or patio, uh, under the deck needs to be cleaned out. The shed needs to be cleaned. The patio area needs to be cleaned off. Generally, the roof will need blown off. Taking into consideration this should be done on a dry day. Nobody's allowed to get on the roof if it's rained within 2 days. The roof does need to be very dry. So you will keep a copy of this in your expandable folder in your checklist. Have multiple copies of this. And as you're going over this with the specific person, you will probably find one or two items that need to be added into this. So you will handwrite them in here while on the job site. Give one copy to the person that you're gonna potentially have do the job. Make sure you keep a copy on the job site. The mailbox is a good spot. Generally, these will need to be in a waterproof bag. Uh, we need to have a copy of this on the job site, and you need to have a copy for this specific job in your expandable folder, because when you do your job site checklist, this is what you will be referring to. Whenever you're going over this, after work has already begun during your checklist, like let's say there's some spots, some leaves have been bagged up, others haven't. You would simply put a star by number one. If the one of the bushes has been missed, you put a star by that. After you've gone over everything, you'll then go over and contact the person on the job site and mention these items need to be cleaned up. If there is a change, it needs to be reported to management, and ultimately, you are the one responsible for doing all these. As you're at the job site, you are simply being provided somebody to help you do these. Ideally, you can correctly delegate all of this so that the landscapers do all the work. Technically, you shouldn't be working on any of this by hand, but it is your responsibility to make sure each of these tasks